Tyre pressure gets really messy really fast. It is easy to understand you need low pressure for sand, but when some people say you need high pressure for rocks, low pressure for corrugations? This road is no joke. High pressure for corrugations? Which one of those is actually right and which one is wrong? 2 weeks ago I spoke about high tyre pressures. You could in fact need to go up to about 50 psi, maybe even slightly higher. A few people question it, quite rightfully so, because in another video I said the absolute opposite. I might just go down to 18, we'll see how that goes. But here's what gets missed. Same tyre, same purpose, different jobs. There are 2 different types of driving. There's slow and technical, and there's fast and responsive. We're after the same thing: grip, control, safety. We can achieve that from the exact same tyre. Throughout this video, we're going to keep the Prado on 40 psi and we're going to keep the 76 on 20 psi. Why? Just to make it easier to distinguish what I'm talking about: high pressure or low pressure. The thing is, high pressure or low pressure both achieve grip, control and safety in 2 very different ways, depending on terrain and depending on the speed you're going at. Slow and technical, we need to change the shape of the tyre. How do we do that? We lower the tyre. Gives us a bigger footprint, better flotation, molds around objects, resulting in a lot of grip.
Whereas if your pressure is too high,
you got to feed the throttle a lot more. You're going to feel more impacts. Your wheels are skipping. Tyre punctures.
that's exactly what you don't want on technical stuff.
Slow, low and technical stuff is anything below 40 kilometers per hour. When people think low tyre pressures, often they think about the fun-seeking stuff, you know, the thrill-seeking stuff. It's not just about that. It's about beaches, windy tracks, rocks, anything you need slow, controlled speed for. There is a limit though. If you're sub 20 psi, depending on how heavy your vehicle is, you don't want to be going 40 for too long. You want to be going even slower.
More on that later. But first, what about four-wheel driving with high pressures?
Four-wheel driving with high pressures sounds controversial, right? Well, the thing is, at higher speeds, we need stability, we need control, less effort for the vehicle, and we don't want to burn that much fuel. And to do that, we need to reduce the flex. So that means higher tyre pressures. And you can see the footprint difference is massive. If you've got high tyre pressure, that's 60 kilometers per hour and up.
Highway driving, towing, gravel roads, and mild corrugations.
I'm telling you, it's rough. But what about the gap? The gap in the middle. 40 kilometers to 60 kilometers per hour.
This is surprisingly complex to explain until you understand this.
There are two ways to tyre failure. There's overinflation and there's underinflation. So first of all, overinflation. Simply running firm pressures, you're putting your tyres at more risk. You're going to feel every single impact. Your tyre is not going to be able to absorb all the hits, the potholes, the ledges.
And you're more susceptible to your tyre's biggest enemy.
Stakes, sharp sticks. There's a good reason to lower your tyres. Something I would not do without having off-road tyres or lower tyre pressures.
Unfortunately, there are two reasons why people don't actually lower the tyres. First one being too lazy, or they don't understand it.
I don't know what to do.
The second one being they're concerned.
So what a lot of people are worried about when it comes to lowering your tyres is all the scaremongering about they're going to fall off the bead, or you have too much compression and you're going to smash your rim. Don't want to buckle a rim, mate. It can happen, but it's only when you go too fast. So if you take it nice and easy, unless you're really unlucky, you're better off having your lower tyres. We're trying to achieve control at slow speeds, and the only way we can slow things down is having low tyre pressures, because it's moulding over things. That's the whole point. And to help explain this, check out this rock.
Hello, I'm a rock.
We're hitting it with 40 psi.
Oh.
You can see the vehicle is bouncing over it, and we need a bit of speed. However, if we lower the tyres, it just moulds over it. We can do it a lot slower and a lot more controlled. There's your difference. Major difference. But that's not to say that low tyre pressures, everything's perfect. If they're used in the wrong conditions or for the wrong reason, things can go wrong pretty quick. This is the second way of tyre failure. It's all to do with heat. If you're going slow, it's all good. But if we go too fast, we're gonna put too much heat in these tyres. If you're going fast, you're gonna have high pressure in those tyres. If you don't, this is where you damage them. Here's a tyre that's been run at too low a pressure. What happens is it flexes so much that it destroys itself from the inside. Especially when you get to 70, 80, 90. That kind of movement is what you don't want when you're going at high speed. Even on a highway, on a smooth surface, if you have low tyre pressures, you will overheat that tyre before you know it. The faster you go, the faster you do damage. And when you add weight on top of that, it makes it even worse. Now they might not blow today, tomorrow, or the day after, but at some point, the tyre's gonna blow out. Heat is what kills tyres at low pressures and going too fast. High pressure fails like this. We must have hit a rock or a stick or something, and low pressure fails like that. I wish it was that simple, but it's not. Despite what many might tell you or what you might think, they have many shared problems as well. If you run too low on the highway, you're using too much fuel, rolling resistance. If you run too high off-road, you're also going to use more fuel. More wheel spin, less traction.
At all four wheels spinning then?
But then if you run too low on the highway, you also overheat your tyre. And if you run too high off-road, you'll shake the shit out of your car.
Oh, no.
And if you don't have the tyre pressure right, you got shoulder wear, you got centre wear. If you're too low, braking and steering control, it's unresponsive, spongy.
And that's why I pumped them up a bit.
If it's too high off-road, it just won't steer. You'll be on a sand track, you want to turn right, you're going straight. So how do we get it right? First thing you need to do is stop chasing the perfect pressure. There is no magic number. There is no magic PSI.
Especially if you find yourself sitting in that in-between zone we mentioned earlier.
The gap in the middle, 40 kilometers to 60 kilometers per hour. It's all a compromise. You're either going to have to drive slower or you're going to have a rougher ride.
That said, where you'll have to compromise will be dictated by this method.
The 133. If you can't pass the first question, there's no use in knowing the other three. The first question is, what kind of tyre do you have? It has to be a minimum light truck construction. What an all-terrain is, what a mud terrain is. That's what they're based around, the carcass. It can take the weight. If you have a passenger tyre, which is a P tyre, forget about it. It's not going to carry the load, it's no good off-road, you're going to shred that tyre. This type of situation you're going to get all the way along most of these unsealed roads. It's okay for these tyres, they can kind of handle it. With road tyres, just like what was on that Ranger I drove that time. And that's why these are not off-road tyres. Can't handle it. Now we've got the two threes left. The first of the threes, high zone, middle zone, or low zone. High zone being highway, towing, heavy touring, mild corrugations, where you can do a decent speed. Middle zone, brutal corrugations, less maintained roads.
Look at how bad this road is. I'm really looking forward to camp, hey?
The occasional slow sections. And the low zone, sand, rocks, slow technical driving. You can get your baseline out of that. That cheat sheet is based on a vehicle that's about 2.8 tonne, maybe up to 3.2 tonne. It's a good baseline for that. You weigh your vehicle, even if you've got the ballpark figure of what it weighs. Then you can ask yourself the next three questions, and this will actually give you the answer that you need. And that's for the triangle. How much does your vehicle weigh? We'll translate that to load. How much load is going on the tyre? How fast are you going to go? The speed you can do is affected by the pressure and the load on your vehicle. How soft is the terrain? The pressure is really determined by the terrain.
Very, very, very soft.
I try and drop pressure a bit more. This isn't very ideal. The speed is determined by the pressure, terrain, and the load. If you have a heavy load, 35 PSI may look the same as 25 PSI on someone else's vehicle. That's how much difference it can make. For example, here is my 76 series traveling to the Canning Stock route. I left Perth, I'm heading to Wiluna. I had 40 PSI. That allowed me to go 110. My load, it would have weighed somewhere between just under 3 tonne up to 3.2 tonne. It wouldn't have weighed any more than that. It was well and truly under its GVM. There's not a lot of gear in that car. I travelled pretty light. And I've got a perfect comparison. Same scenario, Ineos Grenadier driving to Wiluna from Perth, vastly different setup. I had 50 PSI. that allowed me to sit at around 100 because it was hot. My tyres were actually getting quite hot, sitting around 70 degrees Celsius. You don't want them any higher than that. The load, a lot more than the 76, above 3.5 tonne, easy. 50 on the back and 48 on the front. My unloaded Hilux, the N80 I had, that's what it looked like on the beach. It was strong tyres. Same beach, 76 series. So the most important part is to make sure that the triangle is balanced. If the triangle is not balanced, it's going to start getting hot. And how it gets hot is down here. It's where it contacts the ground. So if you see your tyre bulging quite a bit, that's not good. That's where the flex is happening. Off-road it's fine because you're going at lower speeds. But if you're on the highway and it's bulging out the bottom, every rotation you do, and the faster you go, the more rotations you're doing in a more frequent manner, this is going to heat. You're gonna have a blowout.
Now you understand the theory behind tyre pressures, it's just a matter of experience. So for now, keep an eye on your tyres, use the chart, and eventually you'll figure out your fine numbers.
The best practice is pick the right pressure for what you're about to do, not what you were just doing.
My tyre pressure is probably slightly too high for sand, but mostly rock until we get to the beach.